Thank you. All right, so I'm so excited about this panel because all this while, I've been meeting some of them after some 5 or 6 years, despite being in Chennai. We all run digital agencies, and some of them have come from outside of Chennai too. So I think all of us here deserve a big round of applause from all of you guys. Come on. Thank you. I still see the energy is less, okay? Once again, big round of applause, everyone there. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So this is a very interesting panel. It's about digital advertising. It's about advertising, right? It's about Advertising Leaders Board. How many of you here want this session to get started with a bang? Just say I. I'll ask this question again. How many of you here want this session to get started with a bang? Say I. Fantastic. Thank you. So I'll shoot some questions for them. There's going to be a lot of value, so start taking notes. And my first question for the panel here is, why is it important to understand regional market for seamless digital advertising, and how important it is to consider personalization and language for better return on investment? All right. So we'll go with you first. Go ahead, Sagar.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sagar, and I run a company called Publicity Report, a performance agency. And thank you, E4M and Saurav, for this session. Now, talking about personalization in terms of language and other cultural sensitivity for better ROI, I would say the time is now to go beyond the vernacularity. People all talk about your ad should be in Tamil or should be in regional language, but I would say personalize at scale, or relate at scale rather, right? So for one example I could give is in Kanyakumari, where I was visiting, so I saw that there was a local football match which was going on, and which was sponsored by the local politician, I don't know who. So that is a good place for a brand to be, right? Same thing in Pondicherry, we have something called Sunday Bazaar, where it happens every Sunday evening and they do it. So I think going, beyond the language is the key, where people should focus on, and that I think will drive certainly a very good ROI. One of the campaigns that we ran for a lifestyle brand, again from Chennai, and what we saw, or I think I'll rather start it this way. In India, they say that culture changes every 200 kilometers, but in metro cities like Chennai, I say it changes every 10 kilometers. I mean, there is a difference in preferences of food and clothing, the people from Triplicane versus people from Egmore, right? And that's what we saw in our ad for the brand as well, and we were just testing out the background then. So I think trusting your own data and avoiding the stereotypes is the right approach after that. So, yeah.
Thanks, Sagar. Vikas, would you like to contribute to this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of brands have tested this out, and I think at scale, when you look at it and experiment, you realize that creating content for different markets, for different audiences, for different cohorts, can actually drive better ROI, but it requires an investment, and often brands hesitate to do that. Sure. But that's really where agencies like us need to come in to show the outcomes. I mean, a quick example would be for a large food brand. We were really trying to test out different kind of audience cohorts in each market, like Sagar said, right? Within a state, what kind of different audience cohorts you could have, and how can you create different communication for that? And that actually works much, much better than just having one centralized communication. And one quick hack there is also to use creators, and you can help use them to actually create multiple pieces of content for different markets as well.
Brilliant. So, yes, go ahead.
Saurav, if you see, I represent Cortex Media Marketing, so we are basically into healthcare digital marketing exclusively. See, India is a country with 22 official languages. We all know that. And as rightly said by Sagar, every mile there is a change in culture. But when you want to go local, see, when we wanted to start up this agency, what was the crux behind it? When I was researching about the mentality of doctors vis-a-vis the patient mentality. So how to bridge both of them. I was only able to classify doctors into two categories. Either they know the power of digital, but they don't have the time and bandwidth or the right people who has the knowledge, because working in healthcare itself is a challenge.
Right.
There are a lot of regulations. You can't speak everything as you speak for other brands. So they don't have right people. Or the other category would be like, they don't even know like this can be so powerful that can get them more patients. So these are the two categories I decided before even starting the agency. Now when we started the agency, the challenge was there are a lot of doctors who have, burned their fingers with many freelancer types. They were not able to, get the right kind of output out of these things. So when we started going local, we started researching in the tier 2, tier 3 cities instead of working on metros. So, for example, I would quote there is a case study in Tirupur. So, Tirupur we all know as a very small city, but as such, the wealth power of Tirupur is very high. And when we started working for a hospital, the first thing was we need to start communicating to the audience in Tamil. So this was the first thing which came from doctor also. But when we started researching, Tirupur has more migrant population now, which has come from, northern part of the country than any other state, any other city of Tamil Nadu. So there was actually a need to customize, into Hindi and publish for a hospital which is based at Tirupur.
Nice.
Because the doctor was also very happy, the results which was yielding. Normally anybody would go for a Tamil, okay, it's a Tamil, tier 2 city, we'll go for a Tamil. But when we had a proper research, understanding, sitting in the hospital for a week, understanding what kind of patients are coming, and the patients started engaging better with the doctor and the hospital. So going local is very, very important. And before going local, understanding what exactly is required, that's more important.
Fantastic, thanks. So it's two big takeaways from your customer cohorts and regional languages. So it's the next question to Siddharth there. And the question is, what's the crux of creating customer-centric advertisements? What is that one factor all of us should have in the communication for 2024? We'll start with you.
I think it's very important to understand the brand and the consumer insight, right? So I want to just give a quick example. We have a case study with Luminous Inverter, where they wanted to reach out to consumers in a very contextually rich environment. It's a power inverter. It's a utility, right? I'm not going to wake up in the morning and aspire for buying a power inverter. Only when the power goes off, I realized the importance that I should have a luminous power inverter. So what we did was we found out a government website where the scheduled power cuts are available.
Wow.
Right? And our engineering team created a crawler, got that data, fed it into programmatic DSP. We are a data-driven programmatic solutions company. So in Jaipur or in, say, Pondicherry, if there is a Sunday 2 to 6 p.m., there is a power cut, then that ad would trigger on your mobile because you are connected on internet, right? And it is also geo-contextually relevant as well. So it will be in the vernacular because obviously vernacular is important any which ways. We have to go beyond that as well. And so going beyond that in the sense that it's a geo-contextual as well. So we also showed the address of the nearest dealer where you can buy the luminous inverter as well. So, and for the unscheduled power cuts, we collected the data from the internet through Twitter and other sources because when power goes off in my area, I will tweet basically.
True.
So like that, we were able to, really reach out to the consumers when they really were thinking about having power, having an inverter. And that resulted in a very, very strong execution, very strong engagement, 6 times engagement than the benchmark, very good footfalls as well, etc. And there were many awards were won with this campaign as well. So I think it's the crux is, the consumer insight. What is the right moment when consumer could be thinking about your product, your brand, and reaching out to them during that time? I think that is very, very crucial as well.
Beautiful. Geocentric data-driven decisions. Suresh, would you like to add? Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, E4M, for having me here. Something that we've seen to add to that point was, a large e-com brand in India, one of the top 3 had reached out to us to specifically create a campaign for their grocery division that was happening in Trichy and Coimbatore. And we actually, hyperlocal was a buzzword. I think it's gone down to the level of even breaking it down by dialect. So we had to come up with campaigns that were specific to Trichy and Coimbatore because both those towns have a specific way of talking to people. Right. So I think if you can really crack that code and make campaigns that work in that way, your consumer-centric advertisements become more relevant.
Fantastic. Upendra, would you like to add something to this?
Yeah. So, hi, good evening, everyone. So, yes, see, like what Suraj said, it's not only basis on the advertising communications. So, if you could break that barrier and we could advertise, that will have a more impact is what we have personally experienced. We have, for the recently we did run a campaign for a FMCG brand. So, that had a more impact when we had to create communications barrier like this.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to ask this question. I think a lot of you will start making notes for this one. The question is, which tool do you use for advertisements, and how do you think AI can help you ease this process? Because today we all talk about AI in advertisements, and we've seen that it's really doing some great work for us. So who would like to, Vikas, would you like to contribute for this one? Yes.
Yeah, we were actually joking that Saurabh might be the right person for this, so maybe towards the end you can add
Sure.
Saurabh. I think we use a lot of tools today. I think in the creative team especially, we've started using a lot of different ones. There's Midjourney, there's of course ChatGPT, but we're also trying out a lot of interesting video-based tools. And I think, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's happening out there on the generative AI front. That's one part of it. The second, I think, is also increasingly looking at how do you leverage the right kind of AI within the platform that you're using, right? Be it Google, be it Meta, be it MIQ. There's so many things within the platform that you can actually use, be it automated placements, automated targeting, automated pieces. And I think, a lot of brands actually forget to even leverage those. And that's maybe a good first port of call to look at as well.
Fantastic. Yes.
So, adding to what Vikas said, first, I would prefer to use the inbuilt tools in Meta or Google as a first and foremost things, because we are many times we are attracted towards tools because there are a lot of things we see in the social media, a lot of people coming and saying like I use this, it created wonders. So these kind of bites makes us actually eager to buy, and most of them doesn't buy. They window shop and then few of them buy and then it becomes idle. So because unless until you don't have the purpose for the tool, then it's an idle tool. I would suggest first of all go for the inbuilt tools of Meta and Google, or any platform you use nowadays. The platform all the platforms are providing excellent tools to support the advertisement. But personally, if you ask me, some tool which I have liked is DV360 as a platform. Our team has been using it, and I feel like DV360 is something. And I think a lot of competitors already bunched in for that brand also.
Anybody else would like to add the tool suite to us? Yes.
Yeah, so one of the tools that I personally recently started using, and I find it really interesting, is called Taplio. I basically use it to, I would say, automate my engagement on LinkedIn. So, it basically picks up all the posts of the people you like to engage with, as well as the people who have interacted with your post, and you get to, so what this tool does is it reads the post and suggests a comment. And then you can pick just one of them, and it makes your life a lot easier, especially when you're on the move, or when you are managing so many things. So, and also of course you can always edit the comment and add your personal touch and stuff like that. So one of the tools that I would recommend would be Taplio.
Fantastic. Yes, Upendra.
So here I used, I wanted to comment on this. Recently, it's not recently, it's almost been 4 years now, we have been handling one of the university, Wales University. Let me tell the client directly now. So see, we have started this using a tool called the No Paper Form, NPF. So we did, the initial days, we never knew that we would be able to get so much of traction and results. And now the tool itself has been generated a lot of things, and more of the admissions, not only from the admission perspective to the end consumer, until date, they have been communicative, it's been very easy with the tool. So here I would comment on the NPF, which has been a big use tool.
Okay, thank you. I'll recommend one tool called InstaChamp or ManyChat if you want to automate and bring AI into your communication strategies on Instagram. It does amazing for you to convert your audience into potential buyers. Having said this, hiring an influencer, because you're talking about Instagram right now, because that was my last tip. Hiring an influencer or using an influencer video without hiring them in your advertisements, what drives more impact and why? We'll start with Suresh. Would you like to say, or Sagar, go ahead, yes.
Okay, thank you. So I feel that hiring an influencer, though it's a bit expensive, is better, because nowadays people use influencers to identify new products, which influencers have been using, rather than getting recommended by them. So influencer marketing, from what I have seen in my interactions with the brand, it has moved, on the top of the funnel. So it's no more on the bottom of the funnel. So I think hiring an influencer in utilizing their own channels and utilizing their own audience to create an awareness for your particular product or brand that you have responsible for is a better idea and would create a more impact, I would say.
Okay, fantastic.
So yeah, I like to comment the recent campaign did by Vikas, the Samsonite. So seriously, hiring an influencer, it's not based on the influencer itself. So he has to be resourceful for the product as well as he needs to be an end user, and it adds value to the brand and the product as well. And that campaign actually, seriously, that has come out very well. And I suggest to have an influencer and not only to take a video.
Okay.
Saurav, I think this goes both ways. Like, both are important. Like, at times, like, it purely depends on the situation which we are in, the client, the budget. There are too many things which comes in play. But nowadays, if you see the new normal which is happening in terms of social media advertisements, the entire advertisement is done by the influencer itself.
Right.
So it's a new trend, and I think this trend is picking up very well. I think we were discussing outside also how this is influencing the entire advertising industry itself. Nowadays, there are too many cosmetic brands coming in, and everyone wanted to have an influencer, and every influencer makes a video, and they continuously repurpose the video, because repurposing of the content is very, very important. Like, you have one influencer shot, one video put, what next? How you are repurposing the content, that's very, very important. I think this is something I think you also vouch for, personally in many of your talks, about repurposing the content. So hiring influencer, yes, always have an edge, but when you have too many options, like, when you need to create consistent traffic, practically it may not be possible to have an influencer every time.
Right.
So it should be the mix is what I feel. Maybe I am contradicting Sagar.
Because what's your take?
Yeah, I think two quick points here, right? One, I think brands struggle to identify the right creators. So, and this is where I think the data comes into play. There are some amazing tools out there. Quick plug, we also have one, but there are so many great tools out there that help you identify the right creator for your brand, depending on which geography, which demographics, which gender, which age group you're targeting. I think it's important to look at that and not just go with your gut and say, hey, this creator looks like someone who relates to my brand, but they may not have the followers that relate to your brand. So you have to really rely on data to get that, to get the entire influencer marketing to work well for you. The second part is, often we tell brands, when you're creating a campaign, make sure 80 to 85% of the money is actually going towards amplifying the content.
Right.
Whereas what happens if you only hire a creator and use their organic following, you are actually not doing justice to that content. So we always believe in actually amplifying that content and putting more money towards that, because if you have an amazing piece of content, you've seen the engagement rates are great, you've seen it works, put the money behind it to make sure it reaches the right people, because that's really where the magic happens. And Meta itself has been pushing this as what they call as branded content ads, and now it's renamed to partnership ads. But that's where the magic happens. It's not just the organic reach that drives the outcomes.
Absolutely. I think some really good thoughts there. So now that we're talking about influencer, each one of you get about 15 seconds. If you have to pick an influencer that you worked in the last year and who did a great work for you, who would you call out? Just 15 seconds each one of you. Vikas, top of the mind.
I mean, the one we just used for Samsonite and Milind Soman, I think has worked fantastically for us. The numbers are still rolling in, but I think it works very well. The right creator, the right TG, the campaign has come out well. The integration of the product has come out well. So Milind Soman is for me.
Sagar.
Sorry, I don't have anything at the top of my head right now.
Super. Suresh.
We worked with Chika. He's not really an influencer, but he's bigger than an influencer. In the anchor space for Star Sports, we were doing a campaign for IPL, and we used his core lines that he's known for, which is Mukh Mela Raja that he does. We made a track with that, and that went crazy for IPL.
Upendran.
This influencer is a very kid. We did it for Diadem recently. So it's like she had brought in a big market. Her name is EL actually.
Mukattar. No one. Siddhant.
We don't work with influencers. We are
Fantastic.
very heavy into data and tech.
Okay, fantastic. So that's the next question for you, because you're in data and tech. The question is, seasoned advertisements or festive campaigns, what breaks the clutter and what gets you the most result?
I think You have to really look at consumer analytics, right? If I look at what we have found out from our, data analytics solutions, it is very, very important that you have a history of consumer analytics. You understand your consumers very well, and then you already know that during the peak time, when will be a lot of clutter, you know your consumer segment, you know where they are, and you know what they are expecting from you during this festive season. So a bit of consumer analytics and predictive modeling will help you to, plan that marketing, campaign during the cluttered season in a very good way. And it has to be very, very customized, right? It has to be like almost one-on-one kind of marketing if you can do. That will really break the clutter.
Fine, right. Suraj.
Yeah, I mean, to add to that, we just got a recent brief from a B2B client, which is one of the market leaders in the glass business. And I was very interested to know that they've actually chalked out a content calendar for themselves that they intend to do consistent films over close to about 100 in a year, right? And these could be probably reels, these could be short format videos, whatever. But it's a B2B brand that's thinking of it in that sense. So it's not only those, one film that works for about a couple of crores, but it's actually many of these that would make and work for them.
So you're doing 100 videos for them, you're making a lot of money there.
I hope so. You're in the pitch stage.
Having said that, but it's an amazing thought that it's just not one moment, put all the money for that special day, but they're spreading across the budget throughout the year. Vikas, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I think it's important to connect the dots between what's unique about your brand and your product, and how can you give something to the consumer that's different for this festive season, right? And often brands forget both sides of that coin, that you're saying, hey, I have this product, but forget that you also have to be different for the consumer when they look at the clutter that they're seeing. So important to stand out, keeping the context in mind.
I think fantastic. Okay, yes, Sagar, go ahead.
Yeah, as a performance team, I think we love festive ads, but what we have realized is running seasonal campaigns kind of brings that brand message, and being consistent with the brand message really helps with remembering, the hammering that we all tell about in a layman term. So if you're looking at quick sales or quick ROI, I think festive campaigns are best, but focusing just on festive campaign would mean that, after Pongal, you'll end up spending another buttload of money on, Valentine's Day. So having a consistent brand would eventually help you reduce your spend on festive things.
Cool. When we think of advertisements online, the first thing that comes in our mind is Google, or if not, Facebook. And there are tools beyond this. So I would like to ask this panel today, what are some of the other tools that you have tested beyond Facebook and Google? And share your experience with us so that people can make a note of that. Audience today can actually learn from you. Yes, Suraj, go for it.
So very interesting thought. One of our media and entertainment clients about 2 years ago, they did a focus group discussion in Trichy somewhere, and it was about which platform are women consuming their serial content. And they were really surprised to know that a lot of content that we were making and dropping on ShareChat and Moj were consumed by those women and then sampled on TV. So it worked. It was not Meta at that point in time. It was ShareChat that worked for that audience because it's a pure regional app.
So you said ShareChat and Moj.
Yeah.
Fantastic. How about you?
I would second the thought, because as I said, most of our clients are into tier 2, tier 3 cities, into building the healthcare space digitally. ShareChat has always helped us in a phenomenal level to take the original content to the mass audience, especially in tier 2, tier 3 cities. And even in, not only in Tamil Nadu, even in other states, when you want to go to where actually vernacular language plays more part than in Tamil Nadu, we have found ShareChat to be very much helpful. Of course, you will find the content repurposed many places, but ShareChat as such has taken the reach to micro level.
Wow, nice. Siddhant, you have a say beyond.
We have our own data and text platform, right,
Fantastic.
which we provide to agencies. So we will go with our own.
Oh, right. Okay. That's a good one. Vikas?
Yeah, I'll plug it in. I think we use MIQ quite a bit. So I think MIQ is quite powerful when it comes to advanced use cases like the one Siddharth mentioned on leveraging different APIs, leveraging different use cases. That's one that we've used a lot. I would echo what was being mentioned on ShareChat and Moj. I think we're seeing some great success with brands that want to target across specific languages and regions. And the last one I want to talk about is Spotify. I think we're doing a lot of interesting experiments there. They have a large base of 70 million users now. Again, we're seeing some interesting success from there as well.
I think Spotify is a good add-on, and MIQ, I've not experimented it yet. Maybe this is the time for me. Thanks for introducing that, Vikas. Okay, anybody else? Any other tool beyond this on top of your mind? Fantastic. Okay, let's move on to the next question. When it comes to online advertisements, what are some of the biggest mistakes people make in this space? And you think you need to share your mistakes so that people don't repeat those mistakes, right? As advertisers, I'm sure all of us have done quite a lot of mistakes there. So what are those which people should not be repeating? Who would like to start first and be honest about it?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I can talk about two. One, I think, is, taking your TVC and just putting on digital, right? And I think it's the biggest mistake.
Agreed.
I think it's still happening. Unfortunately, brands sometimes don't want to invest towards creating digital first content, and that's a huge, big mistake, I would say. I think the second is a little bit more intricate, but not having the required threshold reach and frequency, right? What happens often is brands come and say, hey, I want to run this campaign. I have, let's say, 20 lakhs of rupees, but I want to target 5 states. Now, that much of money, you cannot get the right threshold reach and frequency to create meaningful impact, right? Sure. So it's important to work with your media planners to make sure that for the money that you have, you figure out what should be the right audience cohort, geographical cohort that works to reach that threshold reach and frequency, because otherwise you're just putting money down the drain.
Good point there. Who would like to add? Yes,
maybe I can add that. We are into programmatic, right? And I think one of the questions which we were discussing was that what is beyond Google and Meta? And a lot of brands get scaled up on Google and Meta, and after that, beyond a point, there is a saturation level which comes in. And that's where programmatic comes in, because it has display, retargeting, audio, video, OTTs, connected TV, digital out of home, so all the new channels basically. But these are all push channels, right? And many times what happens is, like we would go and tell a client that, this is these are the channels basically, and then client will say, yeah, but I just want, conversions and cost of acquisition should be like Google search, right? And that's where, you have to be careful that these are channels which are push channels, and you cannot expect that. And Google search is, when I'm already familiar with the brand, I'm already in the market for the product, I'm searching for it, I'm very, very interested. So it's a pull solution. So my cost per acquisition for Google search will be much, much lower. Instead, when I'm trying to create awareness with display or video or connected TV, that's where, then from there to acquisition will be a longer journey and cost will be higher. And so the common mistake would be to equate the cost of acquisition of Google search with these programmatic mediums and say that they can be equal, which, we have seen happening, or, we have done a couple of times, and then we realized that it is very, very important that we educate the client about these channels. And what we did was then we also introduced more analytics for evaluating these channels. And then, brands who have real problem of saturation, then they move to these channels. They are able to measure also well, and they are also willing to pay higher price, for acquisition, because they know that without creating awareness, without creating the upper funnel, how will I create my mid funnel and lower funnel? So that full funnel strategy and that education is very, very critical.
Fantastic. Yes, Sagar.
Yeah, one of the mistakes that I see, again, this may not be applicable for bigger brands because they have better managers and stuff like that, but especially the smaller businesses, local businesses rather, I would say, they go platform first strategy. They say like, oh, I want to run Facebook ads, I want to run Google ads, but then they don't realize is Facebook ads is really very good for them, or what is the right platform for them. So I think as advertisers, we all agree that consumer is the correct, we should talk about consumer and everything, but a lot of times, and especially there's, new advertisers who are coming out, they simply comply with the client's request and they end up running Facebook ads, and then after that, when we get a client is like, oh no, we did Facebook ad, it was bad. But they don't realize the strategy itself was wrong and our strategy is going to be different. So I think going platform specific or platform first strategy is a very big mistake people still make,
Right.
even after so much maturity in advertising.
Fantastic. All right. So that was some questions for the panel today. I'm going to take up 2 questions from the audience here. If anyone has a question, you can raise your hand quickly. And yes, quick pass off. Please pass on the mic to this gentleman there. Yes.
Question is to Vikash. When you told
Hi. Can I please know your name?
Sorry, I'm Rajkumar.
All of you say hi, Rajkumar. So, louder, guys. Say hi, Rajkumar. Yes, go ahead, Raj. Yes.
Thank you. This question is to Vikash. When you say create a video specific to online medium instead of replicating the same TVs, what do you mean by that? You mean the look and feel, or I don't understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, great question, Raj. I think when we say digital first content, it's the way the data, the content is consumed today, right? Today, a lot of that content is consumed vertically. Today, the patience and the average watch time that users have is probably around 5 to 6 seconds, unless you're able to really engage with them. So what that means is that, and the last point is also a lot of the content is actually watched without sound, which also means that your content needs to be captivating. It needs to have a really good hook in the first 2-3 seconds. It should also introduce the brand very early on and not at the 28th second, right? Because that's how TVCs are built. So the way the content is structured for a digital first piece is very, very different. And you can look at any reel on your own feed, right? That reel breaks all norms of a traditional TVC. It starts with a hook. It's only for 60 seconds. And you actually can get the crux of it in the first 10, 12 seconds itself. That's what I mean by digital first content. Of course, we can get into more depth of it, but that's at the crux of it.
Great, thank you.
Okay, one last question from the gentleman there. Yes. Guys, I need some energy from you when he calls out his name. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Victor from AP International.
Victor.
Friends. Yeah.
All of you say hi, Victor.
Hi.
Victor, go ahead.
Actually, I want to know that you are experts here. So nowadays, AI is getting into like social media platforms. So I'm a digital marketer, performance marketing manager. So I want to know either AI will take over all of the man-made efforts who are putting to just pull up the increasing the digital marketing, what the people are doing here. You think AI comes into the field that?
Fantastic. I'll quickly answer this. AI, you need to make friends with AI.
Yeah.
If not, AI is going to eat you up. That's for sure. So if you make friends with AI, AI is going to help you in your business. If you don't, then it's going to eat up your business. So now it's your call whether you make friends with it or you let it be. Yes, I think our time's up, so I would not let the panel answer this, and I've answered on their behalf. Thank you so much for hosting us. Thank you, E4M.